To switch gears a little bit, like you'll stay on the topic of companies, but Intel, that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. See, they've made some big claims. Pat Gelsinger is in the chair. He's made some big claims. What do you want to see from them?
So, interestingly enough, I literally today researched, wrote, and filmed a video about the sort of future of Intel and AMD. So I am well read on this on this topic.
Convenient timing.
Exactly. I am from what I've seen from Alder Lake, which is the next generation 12th core CPUs. I am, I guess, cautiously optimistic with it. The end result that I want to see is fair and level competition, right? Like that is the best thing for the industry, because it's very clear that AMD has helped push Intel forward, and I'm very much hoping that Intel taking a leap forward with Alder Lake will push AMD to push even harder for Zen 4 in 2022 and a bit. But from the Intel side of things, I would like to see less of the arbitrary restrictions. So one of the things that I've mentioned quite a lot in recent videos and topics is Intel's warranty policy. So with AMD, if you buy a Ryzen CPU, as long as you don't put 33 volts through it and explode it, you can pretty much return it warranty intact, right? Like overclock, I think it's like custom P state overclocking, and maybe if you're using precision boost overdrive or whatever, PBO.
Yeah, PBO.
That I think those two might technically void the warranty, but if you're doing straight up normal overclocking, if you're setting any memory speed you want, if you're using standard boost algorithms, or even I think clock tuner for Ryzen, I don't think counts either. All of that is considered fine, do what you want. But with an Intel CPU, if you dare to touch the multiplier, if you dare to set XMP to anything higher than their factory spec, which currently is ridiculously low for performance CPUs at 3200 megahertz, and before that it was 2933, or any of the other settings that they themselves have enabled or developed, warranty's gone. What? And while they are getting better with this on the new 500 series boards, the whole memory overclocking restriction on lower series boards was a terrible idea. And my understanding, and actually I asked Intel's UK PR manager on a briefing call, is the memory overclocking going to be enabled on older chips and older platforms? You know, like how Ryzen does or AMD does BIOS updates that make older, like B450 boards support newer CPUs. Is that going to be a BIOS update? And he said no, because there's some technical limitation. And so, one, I can't say that I understand. I don't think I got a follow-up answer from that. But two, no more of that, please.
Yeah, that's been a big theme with Intel, is just arbitrary restriction. I know that they caught a lot of heat when they locked memory overclocking to non-Z boards. I think it was 10th. Was it 10th gen? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. But like from everyone's perspective, it was just the artificially cutting value so that they could sell you like a Z board,
or K-SKU.
Yeah, it was things like that. So that would be good to see, I think, because like you said, AMD is far more generous when it comes to like their coverage and warranties and everything like that.
For me, one of the other things that I would like to see from Intel is honestly power efficiency. I'm hoping that with their Alder Lake, which is meant to be on their 10 nanometer enhanced super thin process node, I know, that will be more efficient, and especially because they're doing a big little configuration where they're doing up to 8 what are they called, Gravemont, something like that. I've got this. I can get the script up actually, because it's got it in it. Gracemont cores.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, because they're doing Big Little with up to 8 Gracemont cores and then up to 8 Golden Cove cores. So the Golden Cove cores are the same ones that are currently being backported to 14 nanometer for. They're called Cypress Cove in what's it called, Rocket Lake. So for Alder Lake, that will be better, but I'm not convinced that it's going to be worlds better. It's not going to be comparable to, the 5950X, which is a 16-core CPU, and that only draws 140 watts under full load. The 11900K in my own testing drew 314 at peak. Well over double.
With half the full cores.
Yes.